ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं राधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जयो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। I welcome all the devotees for today's Bhakti Shastri class. Today we are starting with the another book. This is Nectar of Instruction, the fifth book in Bhakti Shastri. We have covered Bhagavad Gita and Nectar of Devotion and then Ishopanishad. Now we are continuing to Nectar of Instruction. It is also called Upadesha Amrita. Upadesha means instruction. Amrita means nectar. So it is translated to English as Upadesha Amrita. The pastime behind this book, writing this book is, it was in Jagannath Puri. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with all his intimate devotees, they were near the ocean. And by seeing the blue ocean, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remembered Sri Krishna. And when he saw all the trees around and sand dunes, he thought about Vrindavana. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the ecstasy of remembering Krishna. Then all the devotees, they chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra loudly, and they brought him back to the consciousness, external consciousness. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started instructing all the devotees. These, among those devotees, Srila Rupa Goswami was there, who was a prominent disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when these instructions, whatever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given to the devotees, that is recorded as this Nectar of Instruction or Upadesha Amrita. These are the Upadesha given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to all his intimate devotees, in which Srila Rupa Goswami is the prominent. So Rupa Goswami is the author of this book. Now Amrita means also like Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu, that is also a nectar. This is also a nectar. Nectar for those who wants to advance in their spiritual life. If we observe the Upanishads, that is Ishopanishad, there we have so many things to learn. That is, what is Veda, what is the conclusion of Veda, and what is impersonalism, what is Mayavada. All these things we learned in Ishopanishad. And finally, it concludes that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, is the Supreme. That is the Upanishads. And in Bhagavad Gita, it becomes even more specific, whom we have to surrender. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. This kind of instruction is not available in Ishopanishad. The complete surrender to our surrendering process, manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. So it becomes more and more clearer. But when you come to the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it speaks even more detailed way of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. How to perform. Hare Krishna. Am I audible? Okay. So, how to perform the devotion to the Lord? The 64 items of sadhana bhakti, all these are more specifically explained. And when coming to the nectar of instruction, that is in the Upadeshamrita, here it is explaining how a person has to perform Vaidhi sadhana bhakti so that he can come to the Raganuga sadhana bhakti and can come to the pure devotional service, that is Shuddha Bhakti. So these instructions are the most important instructions. What has to be accepted and what should be given up. Anukulyasa sankalpa, pratikulyasa varjanam. All these things are very elaborately explained in this book. There are only 11 shloka in this book, but it includes all the instructions or all the principles that is needed for a devotee to perform devotional service. Shri Shri Radha Govind ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Today is the lesson 1 and it includes the preface and the first text of this book among 11. This is the pranam mantra for Srila Rupa Goswami, who is the author of this book. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. When will Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? This is the Mangalacharan. Here, Sri Rupa Goswami, he is the one who has understood the Manobhishta of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you see the shloka, Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam. Manobhishta, whatever desire is there in the mind of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is understood by Srila Rupa Goswami, who is the prominent among the 8 Manjaris. And he has done all the instructions, or he has followed all the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given 4 tasks for all the Goswamis of Vrindavana. There are totally 6 Goswamis, Shad Goswamis. These Goswamis, they had 4 things to do. One is to locate the pastimes of Sri Radha and Krishna. Wherever Lord Krishna has performed the pastimes, they have located them. And second one is to establish deity worship, the construction of the temples and establishing the deities and continuing the deity worship at different places of Vrindavana. And third one is to write the literatures, establishing the bhakti is the highest, the importance of bhakti literatures. And third one, to give a personal example how a devotee should be, that is devotional etiquettes. If we see the life of Goswamis, they are not attached to anything. They don't stay under one tree for 2 days. Every day they change the tree because they don't get attached to the place. So that much renunciation they have shown. So that is the task, four tasks that was given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for all the Goswamis. Now the word Goswami, Go means the senses and Swami means the master. So what does it mean to become the master of the senses? The senses, they are the one which connects us to the external world. We have the senses, 5 input senses and 5 output senses. The eyes, nose, ear, tongue and skin. These are the 5 input senses. And Vak, Pani, Pada, Guda, Upastha. These are the 5 output senses. So through these senses, we come in touch with the external world. Now, when we come in touch with these objects of senses, there are two things can happen. One is we use our senses to control them, or we get controlled by those senses. So both are possible. Just like a person who is eating, he is making the activity of eating to nourish his body so that he can perform some activity, or else he may get attracted by the food, the taste of the food, and overeat and bring disease to himself. So both can happen. So the Goswami is the one who controls his senses, one who has complete control over his senses. Or in other words, Goswami is the one who has used all his senses in the service of the Lord. Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. One who is a devotee. And one who is not able to do this, he is called as a Godasa. That is the servant of the senses. And this Godasa cannot become devotee of the Lord, because he is already a devotee of his own senses. He is running after the sense gratification. So he cannot advance in the spiritual life, spiritual activities. So he is called as a Godasa. Here, Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam, the desire of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya, Mana, within the mind, Abhishtam, what he has, what is the desire, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants, that is understood by Srila Rupa Goswami, and he has worked accordingly. Shri Rupa Hridaye Prabhu Shakti Sancharila Sarva Tattva Nirupane Praveena Karila. Here it is like Rupa Goswami getting instructed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is compared to Lord Brahma being instructed by Lord Sri Krishna during the beginning of creation. When Lord Brahma took birth from the lotus, he was completely ignorant about what is to be done. At that time, Lord Krishna gave him all the instructions. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye Mukhyanti Yatsuraya. Similarly, Rupa Goswami got all the instructions from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As we know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has not written any of the books except the Shikshashtakam. Other than that, all the books are written by Goswamis. And these Goswamis are instructed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are elaborately instructed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and these Goswamis have written all the Shastras, which are available even now, which we are getting benefited. Anybody would like to read can raise their hand. Radha Vallabhi Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Srila Rupa Goswami, by entering the heart of Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu empowered him to ascertain properly the conclusions of all truths. He made him an experienced devotee whose decisions correctly agreed with the verdicts of the disciplic succession. Thus, Rupa Goswami was personally empowered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 19.117. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Rupa Goswami, and Rupa Goswami wrote the book. Deepti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dhanva Pranam.
Yes, Mataji.
Srila Rupa Goswami. Being the embodiment of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love, Rupa Goswami was naturally very beautiful. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expanded his mercy to Srila Rupa Goswami just so he could render service by writing transcendental literatures. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 19.121. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Dhanva.
Thank you, Mataji. We all are called as Rupa Anugas. That means the followers of Rupa Goswami. and we are also the followers of Prabhupada. So we are also called as Prabhupada-anugas or Rupa-anugas. So the Krishna consciousness movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami, and we are reading the purports of Srila Prabhupada. So both are, we are following both of them. Sarita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna everyone, Dandavat Pranam to all. Rupanuga, to understand the mission of Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow in his footsteps, one must very seriously follow in the footsteps of the 6 Goswamis. Preface Shri Updeshan Amrita. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So by following the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami and by reading the purports of Srila Prabhupada, we are trying to understand the nectar of instruction. Sureshwar Priyam Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Rupanuga. Sri Rupa Goswami was the leader of all the Goswamis, and to guide our activities, he gave us this Ubadeshamrita, the nectar of instruction to follow. Preface Sri Ubadeshamrita. Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. This is the Shri Radha Damodar Mandir in Vrindavan, where Prabhupada used to sit and write all his books in the beginning before going to his US. And he could see the temple through his window. So this is the during when Prabhupada in Vrindavan. Purpose of Sri Upadeshamrita. Radhavalavi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Purpose of Sri Upadeshamrita. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Sattva Guna, by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami, and then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. Preface Sri Upadeshamrita. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Sri Rupa Goswami, please say.
Shri Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Purpose of Sri Upadeshamrita: to achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee of the Lord, one must follow the instruction known as Upadeshamrita, which has been given by Srila Rupa Goswami. Preface Sri Upadeshamrita. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Upadeshamrita constitutes the first instructions for neophyte devotees. One should follow these instructions very strictly. Then it will be easier to make one's life successful. So this Upadeshamrita, it begins with the instruction for a neophyte devotee. That is a very beginner, what he has to start with. That is explained, and it ends till the residing in Radhakunda, the glory of residing physically or mentally in Vrindavana. So it just goes on increasing the intensity of devotion to Krishna. There are totally 11 shloka. The first 7 shloka are explaining about Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, that is performing the devotional service under the instructions of spiritual master, and Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, spontaneous devotion to Krishna, that is text number 8, and then 9 to 11, it is Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. We are having 5 lessons for this 11 shloka. The lesson 1, it is today's lesson, that is preface and text 1, which explains about controlling the 6 urges by following Krishna consciousness. And then lesson 2, text number 2 and 3, the 6 favorable and 6 unfavorable activities that has to be performed, should be followed and to be rejected. And text 4, that is lesson 3, 6 kinds of loving exchanges. And lesson 4, text number 5 to 6, what is the attitude of a person towards the devotees. And then finally, text 7 to 11, that is, what is the highest stage in devotional service, and the conclusion of this book, that is Upadeshamrita. So in this way, the flow will be there. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. So we should follow the instructions of the spiritual master carefully. Without following the instructions of the spiritual master, there won't be any advancement, and it can cause aparadha, the offenses. Upadeshamrita constitutes the first instructions for neophyte devotees. Yeah. So neophytes, when a person begins his Krishna consciousness, how he has to control his senses, mind, and body, all these things are explained in the text number 1. If you have the book, in the preface, if you see, Srila Prabhupada explains about the Prayaschitta. Yeah, not in previous, in the text 1. Text 1, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains about the Prayaschitta, and he quotes the shloka that was spoken by Parikshit Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam. And he says what is the importance of atonement and what is real atonement. This is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It starts with Drishta Krutabhyam Yat. The Canto 6, Chapter 1, text number 9. Here you can see. This is the question asked by Parikshit Maharaj to Shukadeva Goswami. What he says, one may know that sinful activity is injurious for him because he actually sees that a criminal is punished by the government and rebuked by people in general, and because he hears from scriptures and learned scholars that one is thrown into hellish conditions in the next life for committing sinful acts. Nevertheless, in spite of such knowledge, one is forced to commit sins again and again, even after performing acts of atonement. Therefore, what is the value of such atonement? Then he further continues. Sometimes one who is very alert so as to not to commit sinful acts is victimized by sinful life again. I therefore consider this process of repeated sinning and atoning to be useless. It is like the bathing of an elephant. For an elephant cleanses itself by taking a full bath, but then throws dust over its head and body as soon as it returns to the land. So it is called as Kunjara Shauchavat, the elephant taking bath. Kunjara Shauchavat. The same thing is explained here again in the nectar of instruction in the beginning. Prabhupada using the same instructions. So who is an intelligent person? An intelligent person is he who learns the instructions by hearing. That is the first class intelligence. We hear from Shastra, and by hearing itself, one should be able to understand what is right and what is wrong. And it takes very less time to follow the instructions if we are able to understand by hearing. Otherwise, it will take more time if you are not able to understand. So what is the second class intelligence? That is learning by seeing. It is like stealing is a offense. So if somebody hears that, if you steal something, you will be punished. So by hearing this, the person has to learn. He should understand. Then it is the first class intelligence. But everyone will not be able to understand. So what they do, even after hearing, they commit theft and they get punished and they go to jail. So the people who are seeing him, at least they will learn. Okay, it is not only hearing, even we have seen now. Those who have committed sin or committed mistake, they have got punished. So that is learning by seeing. That is the second class intelligence. And the third class intelligence is learning by experience. That is, I have heard that it is wrong to steal others' property. And also, I have seen people being beaten when they steal the things. But still, the person is not able to understand. When he will be able to understand, he himself steals and gets punished. Once he gets beaten by someone, then he will learn, oh, it is not correct. This is like animalistic. Animals learn by experience. If you see any animal, if you just tell them, please don't come here, they will not listen. They'll come. And if you take a stick and chase them away, they will go away. Otherwise, they will not. So that is the third class. And fourth class intelligence is, even after getting experience, they don't learn at all. So that is the fourth level of, or fourth class intelligence. So in this way, the person should be able to understand the instructions by hearing. That will save a lot of time, because we don't have enough time to learn by experience. Learning by experience will take so many lifetime, because you should get all kinds of experience. There are so many things to learn. But when one is able to learn by hearing, he is the most intelligent. If you want to learn that drinking poison can cause death, and if you are expecting to learn it by experience, then you have to give up your life, which is not possible. So it is better to learn by hearing than learn by seeing or experiencing oneself. If you want to learn that poison can kill somebody, you have to see someone is taking poison, then they die. Then only you will learn. So that is also not a good way of understanding. And there are so many things we can learn by Shabda Pramana. Through Shabda, we can learn what is the purpose of life, how we have come here, what is the cause of our bondage. All these things, if we are getting the real knowledge through Parampara, it will take us to a higher level of intelligence, and it will save a lot of time. And following the instructions, keeping faith in the Shastra, Guru Sadhu Shastra, it will make us make our life successful. So one must learn by hearing. Now in this regard, Prabhupada explains about atonement. Atonement means prayaschitta, where a person, after committing sin, he tries to nullify the results of it. This is also explained in the Kleshagni during Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. There is some glitch in my system. This is called Kunjara Shauchavat. When a person, is the PPT visible? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So when an elephant takes a bath in water, in a river, it will take very nicely, it takes bath. And after taking bath, it will come to the shore and throws all the mud on its body. So that is the nature of elephant. Similarly, when a person does all kinds of pious activities, or he gets purified by himself by performing some austerity, tapasya, all these things, and again he goes back to the material activities and commit the sin again. So that is called Kunjara Shauchavat, the elephant's bath. A sinful activity cannot be counteracted by a pious activity. When we commit sin, it cannot be removed by committing another pious activity. It is like in the material world, if we see pious activity as positive and the sinful activity as negative, these negative cannot be nullified by positive. It has to be experienced separately. The person, if he has some pious credit and some impious activity also he has to experience it separately. One will enjoy the credits of pious activity, and also he suffers the credit of impious activity separately. You can take the example of a Nriga, which is given in Krishna book. Nriga has distributed so many cows to the Brahmanas, and he has done lot of punya. As compared to that punya, that amount of punya, the mistake he has made is very simple, very small. Unknowingly, he distributed one cow to two Brahmanas. But for that mistake, he could not nullify it by the pious activity what he has done earlier. He had to take birth as a lizard in his next life. So that is the point we have to understand here. We should not think I am doing some sinful activity now and later I will nullify it by some prayaschitta. No, that is not possible. You have to suffer for that sinful activity. Reaction has to come. Now, what is real atonement? That is explained by Prabhupada. Those who like to read can raise their hand. Radhavallabi Mataji.
Real atonement involves coming to real knowledge, and for this there is a standard process. When one follows a regulated hygienic process, he does not fall sick. Shri Upadesha Amrit, text 1.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Real atonement, that is, one should not commit that sin again. If he does like that, then it is a real atonement. Otherwise, if you are already planning to commit the sin again, then that atonement has no meaning. It is meaningless. Just like in Christians, they have the atonement. They have whole week they do so many sinful activities, and weekend they go and tell all their sins, whatever they have performed, and they consider that all my sins are nullified now. Again, I can do new sin. And there is another thing is they take advance atonement. That is, I'm going to commit this sin in the next week, so I'm taking the atonement now itself. This is completely a mockery of what is called as atonement. One cannot take atonement in advance. That is, I'm already decided that I'm going to commit sin, and I'm telling that I'm going to commit sin. Please excuse me. That is not possible. And even in the practice of Krishna consciousness, if a person is committing sin and thinking that by chanting the holy name of the Lord, I can nullify this effect, then it is the seventh offense. Namno balad yasyahi papa buddhi. If you think like that, then that itself is the greatest sin. And sin against the holy name, it is very hard. It cannot be removed. So one should not commit the sin against the holy name of the Lord. So that is the real atonement is when a person decides that he will not commit the mistake once again. Because Krishna will excuse us in the beginning, because as we are attached to this material world, all these activities, committing sin may be a part of our life before coming to Krishna consciousness. But we should not take advantage of that and continue to commit sin intentionally. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says to Jagai and Madhai and to all people, that if you are not committing this sin again, then I will excuse you and I will deliver you. That is the condition. You should completely give up all your sinful activities and come to Krishna consciousness. Then the person will be delivered. Otherwise, there is no deliverance. In the text number 1, we can see the 6 things that has to be controlled. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jihva vegam, udaropastha vegam, etan veganyo vishaheta dhira, sarvam apimam pratvimsa shishyat. These are the 6 things to be controlled. So here 6 urges are there. You can see the translation by Srila Prabhupada. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Here, Rupa Goswami is giving the instructions for a disciple, for a neophyte devotee. But in the first shloka, he is telling the qualities of a guru, or the person who is a spiritual master, one who can take disciples all over the world. That means these are the 6 characters that can be found in the spiritual master. So one has to take shelter of a guru. That is explained in the Nectar of Devotion. What is the first step in devotional life? One has to take the shelter of a guru, spiritual master. And through his instructions, one can serve the Lord. So whom we have to consider one as our spiritual master? The one who has these qualities. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jihva vegam, udaropastha vegam, etan veganyo vishaheta dhira, sarvam apimam pratvimsa shishyat. One who is capable of controlling all these 6 kinds of urges, he can become a guru for the entire world. The word vega means urge, that is immediate satisfaction. If you are not satisfied immediately, then it will create a lot of problem. That is called as vega. It's like when 2 people come together, they want to speak. They have that urge so intense that they can't stop speaking. If you are waiting for some more time, that is, if you are controlling that vega urge, it will go away. It will not remain, that desire will not remain anymore. That is called as urge. Otherwise, it is not a simple desire. There may be so many desires. I want to go to such and such place, or I want to have something. So that may not be called as vega. It is just a desire. It may be fulfilled later on. That is not called urge. But urge means it's urgent. Urgently fulfilled desires. That is called urges, vega. Vega also means speed. It comes very fast. The person gets the desire and immediately it has to be fulfilled. This is the urge of the senses. Now these 6 urges, it can be categorized among the kaya, vacha, manasa. Kaya means body, vacha means words, and manasa means mind. It can be categorized into 3 parts. And the first one, vacho vegam. Vacha, it refers to the speech. That is the function of the tongue. Tongue has 2 functions, speaking and eating. So it is an input organ, also it is an output organ. It is jnanendriya as well as karmendriya, both. It is very powerful instrument, the tongue. Vacho vegam, as a instrument for speaking, it is a working senses. And as a tasting sense, it is an input sense, or it is a jnanendriya. So because we can speak through the tongue, it is a working sense or karmendriya. And because we taste through the tongue, it is a jnanendriya. So both functions are performed by the tongue. Now this vacho vega, what is that vega? It is to speak mundane activities, mundane things, mundane talks or books. All these things comes under vacho vegam. We just want to speak about so many things. That is the vacha vegam, urge to speak. There are many types of urges. If you are analyzing as a karmi, jnani or yogi, or the materialist, karmi, what they want to speak so many things about the material activities. That is the urge for material enjoyment, the objects speaking about the objects which can fulfill their material enjoyment. And jnanis are attracted by the Nirvisheshavada, the impersonal aspect of the Lord. By talking that, they feel happy or they get satisfaction, which is against the Bhakti principle. And simply speaking unnecessarily, which has no meaning, it is called as prajalpa. There is no actually nobody is getting benefited. By doing prajalpa, what happens? There will be fight, or there will be some people, they quarrel with each other. Because when they do prajalpa, they go to so many topics and somebody may oppose, and finally they end up in fighting. It is compared to a toad making sound, croaking of a toad. In the rainy season, the snake will be searching for his food, but it is not able to locate it. Where is the toad? But the toad itself will make the croaking sound. Then the snake can easily locate it. Oh, here is my food, I'll go and eat it. The person who is doing prajalpa, speaking unnecessarily, he is like unnecessarily inviting danger to himself. And the mundane books, these are the materialistic objects which can increase our material desires. This also comes under prajalpa. And there are another kind of people who perform mauna. Mauna means no speaking. Don't speak anything. Just be silent. Being complete silence is also not control of Vachovega. What is the real control of Vachovega? It is to glorify the Lord. We should hear about the Lord and we should glorify the Lord. Then that is the real control over the speech. When a person becomes mauni, one completely becomes silent, his mind will not keep quiet. His mind will be thinking about the material objects. So it will lead to other problems. But when our tongue is engaged in the glorification of the Lord, the Krishna Katha, and then our mind is also involved in the same. So the same activity which can create problem, which can create bondage, it can be used for delivering oneself. And then reading about the spiritual book and engaging in Krishna's service, all these things can help us to remember Krishna so that we speak about Krishna. That is the urge to speak. Then comes the urge of the mind. The mind has two types of urge. One is avirodha priti. Other one is virodha yukta krodha. One is attachment. Other one is anger. Avirodha priti, it is called as unrestricted attachment to any object. And mind has another function. It is called as virodha yukta krodha, or anger in frustration. That is manasa krodha vegam. The krodha is the vega in the mind. One has to control both. The over attachment to the mundane activities, mundane objects, it can create problem. Avirodha priti. The jnanis are attached to the impersonal features or Mayavadi philosophy, and karmis are they have the faith in fruitive activities, and materialists, they are planning for sense gratification. All these things are avirodha priti. They are intense desire for attachment or unrestricted attachment for material objects. And how to control them? By remembering Krishna. By engaging our mind in the service of Krishna, we can engage our mind. The same attachment which is towards the material objects, if we turn it towards the Lord, then our mind gets controlled. We can control the mind. That is Manasa Vega. And Krodha. Krodha is another Vega of the mind. And this Krodha, it has to be controlled. And it can also be used against the people who are blasphemers of the devotees and the Lord. Here Prabhupada gives 3 examples for this Krodha. One is the example of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he showed the anger against Jagai and Madhai. Jagai and Madhai, they injured Nityanand Prabhu, and because of that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately appeared and he was about to kill them. A devotee, he will tolerate everything for himself. But if anybody insults the Lord or another devotee, they will not tolerate. They will immediately take action. So the anger can be channelized through for those who are offending the Lord and the devotees. And Hanuman is another example where Hanuman went to Lanka and he set fire to Lanka for serving Lord Rama. And Arjuna, who fought against the people who are in the opposite party, as an instruction from Lord Krishna himself, he fought the Kurukshetra war. These are the 3 examples Prabhupada gives for Krodha Vega, or how to control the urge for anger. As far as possible, a person should not get angry, because devotees should tolerate everything. We should not show our anger unnecessarily. We should try to avoid the anger at anyone, because it will create a lot of problem. One cannot preach properly if he gets angry. So when he is very compassionate towards the other people, he can only benefit them. So this is the Manasa Vega. Then next 3 comes, that is bodily Vega, Kaya, that is Jihva, Udara and Upastha. These are the three things which has to be controlled. The Jihva means the tongue. Here tongue, when the tongue is called as Vacha, it is to speak. When it is called as Jihva, it is for tasting. Sanskrit is a very profound language. For every activity, the same instrument, they use different names. Jihva and the Vacha. So Jihva Vega, it is an urge of the tongue for eating more and more. This is the most important item we should remember, because when a person is capable of controlling his tongue, he can control the whole world. The tongue is the most difficult object to be controlled. One who has won the tongue, then he can control all other senses also. That's why when we take prasadam, we pray to the Lord. Mahaprasade Govinde Namo Brahmane Vaishnave Sulpa Punya Vatan Rajan Vishwaso Naiva Jayate. That means Mahaprasada, that is Mahaprasade Govinde, that is the Mahaprasada of the Lord, and Namo Brahmane Vaishnave. Nama means the holy name of the Lord, and Brahmana Vaishnava means devotees. So these 3 things, one will not get faith in them unless he has performed a little bit of punya. Solpa punya vatan rajan vishwaso naiva jayate. Prasada, nama and the devotees of the Lord. Then it continues. Sharira abidya jal. That means our body is made of full of ignorance. Sharira abidya jal. Jodendriya tahekal. All these senses, they are biting us. They are very dangerous. And Jodendriya tahekal. Tara madhya jihva ati lobhamai sudhurmati. Among all the senses, it is the tongue which is the most dangerous. Lobhamai sudhurmati. Take jeta katina samsare. It will make our life in this material world very, very difficult. Then, what is the solution? Krishna bada dayamai. Krishna is the most merciful. And koribare jihva jai. He will help us to control the tongue. How? Swaprasadanna dilobhai. Say yanna amrita pavo Shri Shri Radha Krishna gunagavo. When we eat only the prasadam which is offered to Krishna, and when we use the same tongue in glorification of the Lord, then the controlling of tongue becomes very, very easy. Radha Krishna Gunagavo. Say Annamrita Pavo, Shri Radha Krishna Gunagavo, Premedako, Shri Chaitanya Nitai. Jainimai, Jainitai. So like this is a prasadam prayer. It is very profound prayer. This is not just like in other religion, people say, oh God, please give us our daily bread. Or if you say, oh God, please give us, oh God, thank you very much for providing our food. This is not a prayer. What is the prayer here? It is speaking about something higher purpose. As every devotee knows that Krishna will feed everyone. He is feeding the human beings, animals, birds. He is feeding everyone. But what is needed here? We have to remember Krishna by controlling our senses. We have to use the senses in the service of the Lord. That is the prayer. So when we eat only Krishna prasadam, and that also one should not eat too much. We should not think that I want more mercy, so I will eat more prasadam. That is not correct. Krishna's mercy is always there. One should eat regularly. Even the prasadam also, one should not eat too much, or in any time eating too much. That is also not correct. One should eat at the proper timings, in the proper quantity. That will help us to control the tongue. If we are, in the name of prasadam, if we are simply eating more and more delicious food, delicious prasadam, then that also may cause fall down of a person. If you are only interested in eating prasadam, that is also can cause fall down. It has happened, many people, and it can lead to health problems, or there are many many problems it can come. As we know already, eating other things like the non-vegetarian foods, they are harmful, definitely. But even within the Krishna consciousness, when a person is eating too much of prasadam, just for tasting the tongue, for the taste of the tongue, it can cause fall down. So one should be very careful in this manner. And also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, Bhalana khaibe ara bhalana paribe. Do not dress luxuriously and do not eat delicious food. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told. And also fasting during the Ekadashi and other festivals of Janmashtami and appearance of acharyas. All these things can help us to control the tongue. That is Jihva Vegam. Okay, let us have Kirtan now. Who is doing Kirtan, Mataji?
Myself, Prabhu.
Yeah. Please, Mataji, start.
Is the screen visible?
Yes, Mataji.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Krishna prema mayi Radha, Radha prema mayo hari, Jivanena dhari nityam, Radha Krishna gatir mama. Krishna prema mayi Radha, Radha prema mayo hari, Krishnasya dravinam Radha, dravinan hari, Jivanena dhane nityam, Radha Krishna gatir mama. Krishna prema mayi Radha, Radha prema mayo hari, Krishna prana mayi Radha, Radha pranamayo hari. Jivanena dhanene tam. Radha Krishna gatir mama. Krishna prema mayi Radha. Radha prema mayo hari. Krishna drava mayi Radha. Radha drava mayo hari. Jivanena dhanene yam. Radha Krishna gatir mama. Krishna prema mayi Radha. Radha prema mayo hari. Krishna gehe stita Radha. Radha gehe stito hari. Jivanena dhanene yam. Radha Krishna gatir mama. Krishna prema mayi Radha. Radha prema mayo hari. Krishna chitta stita Radha. Radha chitta stito hari. Jivanena dhanene yam. Radha Krishna gatir mama. Krishna prema mayi Radha. Radha prema mayo hari. Ilambaradhara Radha. Pitambaradharo hari. Jivanena dhanene nityam. Krishna gati. Krishna prema mayi Radha. Radha prema mayo hari. Vrindavaneshwari Radha. Krishna Vrindavaneshwara. Jivanena dhanene nityam. Radha Krishna gatir. Krishna prema mayi Radha. Radha prema mayo hari. Jivanena dhanene nityam. Radha Krishna gatir mama. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is Yugalashtakam by Sri Jiva Goswami. Let's read the translation. Radha is made of pure love for Krishna and Hari is made of pure love of Radha. Life's greatest wealth is Radha and Krishna, my eternal shelter. Radha is the treasure of Krishna and Hari is the treasure of Radha. Life's greatest wealth is Radha and Krishna, my eternal shelter. Radha pervades the life force of Krishna and Hari pervades the life force of Radha. Life's greatest wealth is Radha and Krishna, my eternal shelter. Radha is totally melted with Krishna and Hari is totally melted with Radha. Life's greatest wealth is Radha and Krishna, my eternal shelter. Radha is situated in the body of Krishna and Hari is situated in the body of Radha. Life's greatest wealth is Radha and Krishna, my eternal shelter. Radha is fixed in the heart of Krishna and Hari is fixed in the heart of Radha. Life's greatest wealth is Radha and Krishna, my eternal shelter. Radha wears cloth of blue color and Hari wears a cloth of yellow color. Life's greatest wealth is Radha and Krishna, my eternal shelter. Radha is the mistress of Vrindavana and Krishna is the master of Vrindavana. Life's greatest shelter is Radha and Krishna, my eternal shelter. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Let us continue the discussion. Vacha vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jihva vegam is over. Next, udara and upastha vega. Udara vega, it is very much connected to the jihva vega. When a person is attached to the overeating, one who is too attached to the body, and one who is trying to take care of the body, forgetting the real purpose of body, that is to serve Krishna, he will eat too much. That is udara vega. And this udara vega, it can be controlled by fasting during the Ekadashis and other festival days, Janmashtami, all these times. It will control the jihva as well as the udara. And jihva, udara, and upastha, these three comes in the same line. Upastha means the genitals. When a person eats too much, when the stomach get too much of pressure, then the upastha vega also increases. The too much of eating, too much of eating of other different types of food, which is too spicy, too oily, or too salty food, this all can agitate the mind of a person, and it can create upastha vega, the urges of the genitals. Now, controlling of the upastha vega is engaging the senses in the service of the Lord, that is for begetting Krishna conscious children. In the grihastha life, it is allowed, and it is not allowed outside the grihastha life. So this upastha vega has to be controlled through the by begetting Krishna conscious children. So in this way, there are 6 urges that has to be controlled by a devotee. Now here is the activity. Read the appropriate section from the purport to text 1 of Sri Upadeshamrita. Perform a skit showing the consequences of a devotee neglecting to control the above. So these are the 6 urges. Here, skit in the sense you can explain in the class, as it is not possible to perform the skit here. You can you can make the dialogues, or you can give the main principles. So what is the consequence of breaking vacho vega, manasa vega, krodha vega, jihva vega, udara upastha vega, all these things you can explain. So there are totally 16 people now. Okay, shall I make 4 groups? Is it okay? Prabhuji is not there.
Yeah, he had to leave.
Yes.
He has some session.
Okay. Let us make 4 groups here. Hope everyone understood the question. Any doubts in question?
So Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, all the groups have to speak about all, or there is a division of?
I don't make division because you don't get much to speak. So you can choose. Is that fine?
Okay.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, welcome back to the discussion. Please raise your hand for starting the discussion. Dipti Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhuji, it was me and Pradoshuta Prabhuji in our group. And so, Prabhuji, we discussed only one particular point. So, instead of picking all of them, we thought of covering just one, which is tongue. So, when we talk about the consequences of breaking, the consequences are basically, Prabhuji, as we rightly know that there is a famous quote that Jaisa Ahar, Vaisa Vyavhar. So whatever we are going to eat is automatically going to go in our consciousness. And not only that, we also understand Ahar is Shuddho Sattva Shuddhi. So when our Ahar is Shuddha, when we take the sanctified food, automatically our existence is getting purified. How we are, the finer memory cells are getting purified so that we can remember God. So when the major consequences would be ultimately we'll be staying away from the Lord and we might go and into the dark regions of material continuous material existence that could continue, since we know that this material world is dukhalayam or shashwatam. So ultimately everything starts from our tongue, prasadam that we take. Because when we are taking prasadam, actually it is like we are doing a yagna basically. We are performing the sacrifice to the Lord first. When we are missing that, ultimately we are losing the most important thing, that the Lord is the Bhoktaram Yagya Tapsam. So what is happening is the purpose of the life, that perfection that we have to achieve will be lost in this process. And as it is said, the tongue, since the tongue, Udra Upastha, everything is situated in the same line and everything can be controlled by the tongue itself. So we'll continue with our sinful reactions and we are really going to get that. So it is very difficult, Prabhuji, because this is the basic major process from where we can start by controlling our tongue, by having the prasadam of the Lord. So this is one of the most important thing, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, because of this, the consciousness gets degraded, no? So not only that, whoever is preparing, their consciousness also flows into the food. And there are 84 lakh species of life. It's not necessary that a person is going to get this human life again. So ultimately we try to, and we will imbibe the different qualities of different people also, because the consciousness is what matters here. So, but the goal that we understand is to achieve Krishna consciousness, that really gets hindered. So this is what I have understood, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Sureshwar Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, we two are there, myself and Kiruba Shankar Prabhuji, both of us are there. We divided the 6 points to 3. So I actually I have taken the last 3. He has taken the first 3. So you want him to speak first, then that would be better, I feel.
Okay. Kiruba Shankar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Even once we start our Krishna conscious entry, our slogan is stop chatting and start chanting. So this itself is the main criteria to control the tongue. So instead of normal gossips or grama kada, we should stop those things and start Krishna kada, kirtans, and about Krishna's pastimes, studying and reading books and chanting. These are all the main ways to control our tongue and stay focused on Krishna services. So our manas, the main control is, instead of wandering like monkey, always the ideal man's mind is devil's workshop. So instead of that, keep it on Krishna conscious, focused on the reading books and the chanting and all this devotional services. So automatically our mind also get purified and the tongue also get purified, and we will be in the spiritual progress path. This is the basic understanding of mine. So still our Mataji may add points to make it perfect. Hare
Krishna Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Now, next, he talked about Vaja and tongue's first use. And the second use, I will continue with whatever he said. So that tongue is used for tasting. Now, what is the importance of taste that we all could understand, as most of us had COVID and it lasted for such a long time? With tastelessness is a very bad thing. But now we have to put a control, what to taste, what not to taste. So there is a clear instruction given to all of us that you should taste the prasadam. And prasadam has got holy, it is holy in nature, it is Krishna himself. So it will give us the good sense, so that we will not do any bad speech also. So prasadam will motivate us to speak good. That is one thing we can say. Now coming to belly, that is udara means belly. Now, in the case of belly, means belly, whatever you give, that belly will digest, because it contains the acid. So whatever you give, it has got a fuel to burn it. But we have to be very careful what we are filling it. So again, we are talking about eating what is given to us by Lord Krishna or by the scriptures or by Acharya. So, and that too, how much to eat, that also, it is not to fill our belly or to satisfy our senses, just to keep our body and soul together. Eat as little, just to keep our body and soul together. This should be our attitude. Then that will be the proper way of keeping our body in shape, so that the soul will be happy within this particular body. Now coming to Ubasta in the sense, actually we are not supposed to go for illicit sex. And again, after having such thoughts also in mind, then again you think that no, you can chant and do an atonement. That itself is very wrong. That thought only should not come into your mind. And even if you have such kind of a thought, you should get married properly as per the Shastra. Then again you can have children to whom you should be able to bring them up in a Krishna conscious way. So this is how we have to follow these three things. Now coming to Manasa in the sense, actually what even you said about Mauni will be keeping quiet, so he's not talking anything. But at the same time, it is just like a film. So many films will be going our mind. It will be going automatically. So our mind is working 24/7, except sleeping. I suppose that time also will be disturbed by the dreams. But here what happens, the mind will have two different types of activities, as you said. One is Avirodha Priti, other one is Viruddha Yukta Krodha. Now, as per Avirodha Priti, we will develop some sort of attachment to certain things. So, for example, some people are very much attracted to buy something, window shopping, they say, and they go on ending with buying something. So, unwantedly, we will buy things. That is an attraction and attachment. So, suppose we have such kind of an urge, how we will change it? We can buy something, beautiful cloth for Krishna, do your shopping also at the same time, buy something which is good for Krishna. Similarly, we may buy gold, make some ornaments for Krishna. That can be done mainly. And again, when we are talking about Virodha Yukta Krodha, Krodha is a character which everybody has got. We all have it. How much ever we try to control it, that is the one thing which we cannot control many times. Then how to control it? We have to think when we should use it. So many times we have to tell our mind, we should use our Krodha only to people who are blaspheming the devotees of the Lord and Lord Krishna. If somebody is talking bad about Lord Krishna, just fight with them and come out of it. Or you come out of it. You can't stand there, you come out of it. Or you commit suicide. This is what told in the earlier some chapters, but which we cannot do it. So we will just give our arguments back, or you just get away from that. This is what we understood, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Sarita Kapoor Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Prabhuji, we are three of us, Shri Priya Mataji and Sarita Mataji. So we prepare small kit rather than giving.
Oh, nice.
So it's like I'm a person who cannot control hunger, cannot control mind, cannot control my stomach, and Sarita Mataji is an elevated devotee. She is trying to control, and Shri Haripriya Mataji also has a wavering mind. She's also, so tomorrow is Ekadashi, supposing, and today we are thinking of what is going to be tomorrow, how will I, and it's a problem with me, most of it. And Mataji, tomorrow is Ekadashi, correct?
Yes, Prabhuji, I'm on mobile.
Okay.
Yeah, she can't open her. She told she can't open her video. So Mataji, we are tomorrow is Ekadashi, Bapre. I'm getting tension tomorrow. How will I stay from morning hungry? It is so difficult. Such a long day. We have morning. I have already I prepared my food till 11:30. I will eat today. Tomorrow I will see what will happen. Let me see. And I don't know how much will I eat. I already prepared all the food. And for Baran also, I'm thinking what to keep it on ready for my thali. How will I break my fast? I'm really very. I cannot understand. Tomorrow, let me talk tomorrow again, because I cannot stay whole day hungry. I need to talk to you all. So that let me know how Sarita Mataji will help us out. Shri Hari Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Krishna.
Mataji. Let's
Hare
do
Krishna
a call
Mataji.
tomorrow, con call tomorrow on the day of Ekadashi, so that we can at least have some time spent together in each other's company and talk about few things. What do you say? Along with the chanting, we'll do chanting also at the same time, and we'll do some gossip also.
Yeah.
The ladies gossip.
So tomorrow now the Ekadashi has come. Tomorrow now that today is Ekadashi. Supposing the next day has come, now it is an Ekadashi. Oh my God, my tummy is paining. I'm very hungry. Okay, let's sit and chant. I cannot sit. My mind, my stomach, my everything is going to food, and I can talk. If you let me talk, I will be okay. So I want to talk all day.
Don't panic. We have ordered Haldiram's special Suddhi Satvik Bhojanalay Thali for all of us. Why don't you do something like that? I am just waiting for the delivery man from this Swiggy to deliver it. Till then, I'll do chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Sarita Mataji, you are also fasting. No, you are also chanting.
Yes, I am chanting. Mataji, why do you so much thinking about food? I mean, what the whole purpose is spoiled if we are thinking so much on food. Then what is the purpose of our chanting, right? I mean, let's focus on our chanting and don't focus so much on food. The main purpose is lost, right? And I was actually planning, why don't we join together and read some shlokas, or we can actually make more benefit out of it. We can read all the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, the Ishopanishad we have for our exams. We can practice those. So what is your suggestion?
Mataji, but I cannot control. Okay, let me divert to chanting. Let's see. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh my God, mango. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Sarita Mataji, Mataji told yesterday while we were in our class. She was telling that even if you do chanting or you do this, reciting the shlokas, or you read the holy names of the book, keep yourself busy by taking only Harinam on the whole day. Now just imagine, what do I do with my kids? They're just pestering me. Let me shout them and come. Wait a minute, I'm coming. I'll join you. Why are you doing this?
Sarita Kapoor Mataji, I have a suggestion.
My tummy is hanging hunger pangs, Mataji. How to control? It is so difficult.
If you're not able to do with Nirjal, or I don't know what you have planned, because you said you want to have a craving on mangoes, why don't you have some fruits, Mataji? Instead of just lamenting that I'm not eating, better have some fruits and please concentrate on
Mataji, one fruit will not satisfy my mind. It's going on asking more and more and more.
Watch a movie, na. It will distract your mind from food. Watch something which does not involve food. Watch some beautiful cinematographic movie. That new movie came in the town yesterday. Why don't you?
No, Prabhuji says not to see that. But I cannot control. He keeps saying not to see any movie.
Keep yourself busy for 3 hours. I plan to do that also today.
No, I am thinking of what I will prepare for breaking the fast. I'm thinking I will start preparing that now.
Okay, you both do whatever you want. I am just logging off. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for the wonderful drama.
So we wanted to involve everything, mind, tummy, wanted to put the food, talking.
It was nice.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Thank you all for all the Matajis. Rakshita Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, can you also unmute Radha Vallabhi Mataji and Jayanti Mataji because they were also in our group?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
can.
I am there. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Rakshita.
so we have also planned something like this, very similar.
Very
But
nice.
here it's not dialogues, but I'm going to narrate an incident, what happened to me, to Radha Mataji and Jayanti Mataji. So basically, what kind of a person I am is I cannot, I'm a very foodie person. I eat a lot. I eat so much that, you know, Mataji, Radha Vallabhi Mataji.
Yes.
So I'm calling her basically. So, Mataji, you know what happened? I had to get a promotion in my office, okay? But you know what happened? Now I lost my job only. Because I eat a lot, no? You know how much I eat, no? And I don't know, I control, I try and control. Still, I happen to eat. I end up eating like 6 to 7 times a day. And what happened? I ate so much, and finally I got obesity. And then I became so fat, I couldn't walk only. I took like so much time to walk because so much of fat I am right now. And then what happened? I used to spend a lot of time in gym. I used to do double workout in gym. And after working out double dose of workout, I couldn't go to office and work properly because I was getting very tired. And then after I got tired, there my output went very low, and my boss started scolding me, and then they warned me. I shouldn't work. I shouldn't go to office only from next day if I don't work properly. And then so what happened? I cut down my gym time and I concentrated on my work. And again, because I was eating so much, I got a lot of health issues because of overeating.
So Mataji, I have some suggestion for you.
Yeah.
See, whatever has happened, and now try to control your eating. Make a timetable. Get up early in the morning. Take some
So
walk
difficult,
around this.
Mataji.
Yeah,
Who will
and
get
then
up early in the morning?
you try out for a few days. Then try to go to the temple. For you will see a lot of devotees there. You chant Lord's name there. You will see some beautiful kirtan and all. Maybe your mind is diverted there, and take prasadam there instead of taking all the junk food which you are taking. You will like, first is the association of the devotees, then the kirtan which you hear, and you may hear some good stories from Lord Krishna's book or Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, and you will get a lot of association of the devotees.
Mataji, I can't even eat proper prasadam because I used to eat lot of sweets. And
You'll get
the
some good
dentist told my
sweets
tooth should be
also.
taken out.
Yeah, no, you can take some good sweets also. When you take Charnamrita, so it has some honey, milk, so that is also sweet. Or if you go on Sunday feast, you will get some gulab jamun and some other sweet, halwa or so. So you can get all those things here, but you do it regularly. You don't eat, throughout the day. Go for a walk. Go, if the temple is near your house, go there, sit with the devotees, do some chanting. So it will improve your habit of, continuous eating, and also help your mind, because you will be listening to Krishna Katha rather than the gossips and all. Maybe you will get your job back, because if you regularize this with the company of the devotees, you will yourself try to regularize your ways of working, and you will wake up early also. As you said, it is very difficult to, because you're eating at any odd time, you're not doing any exercise, you're not doing your work properly. Okay. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
hope my boss believes me because I gossip a lot. I went and gossiped against my boss only to others. And now
Yeah,
they
if
all
you
went and
chant Lord Hari's name, go on chanting, try out with one mala. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Yes,
Hare Hare,
Mataji.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
So this is
Krishna.
just
Thank
an
you.
incident, just to show that what a person's life can end up becoming if they don't have control over their own selves. Okay, just a small attempt, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you for both Matajis. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So it was a wonderful drama. So example for how to control the senses. Earlier drama, it was like fasting. It is for austerity, is for pleasing Krishna. We should not think of the object of. If you are only thinking of food conscious, by fasting we should not become food conscious. We should become Krishna conscious. If your fasting itself is taking you to food conscious, then better eat and then perform your performance of Krishna consciousness. Very nice. Thank you. Okay, let us continue to the next one. So as a summary, what we have learned now, Vacho Vegam, it has to be controlled by Krishna Katha, glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. Manasa Vegam, mind's that is Avirodha Priti, attachment. Fix the mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. The attachment to Krishna is good. And Krodha, that is Virodha Yukta Krodha, become angry with those who blaspheme of Lord or the devotees of the Lord. And then Jihva Vega, how to control the tongue? By supplying prasadam. We should eat sumptuously, not voraciously. Then Udara Vega, that is observe fasting days like Ekadashi and Janmashtami, so that we can restrain the demands of belly. And then Upasta, begetting of Krishna conscious children. So these are the 6 ways of controlling the 6 urges. Etan veganyo vishaheta dira sarvam apimam pratvimsa shishyat. So the conclusion is that one who can control these 6 items, speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, and genitals, is to be called a Swami or Goswami. Such a sober person is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So that is the conclusion of first text. If a person wants to advance in spirituality, he has to learn to control these 6 urges. And everything starts with the control of the tongue. That is Vacho Vegam and also Jihva Vegam. One who controls the tongue, he can control all other senses. Finally, let us hear from Srila Prabhupada. Anybody would like to read? Shri Haripriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
The nectar of instruction has come out very nice. It is very important and must be immediately read by all devotees. In the near future, we shall introduce the Bhakti Shastri examination for second initiation, and this shall be the one of the required books of study. Anyone who reads it will immediately understand what Krishna consciousness is. Letter from Srila Prabhupada to Radha Vallabh, Nellore, 5 January 1976. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. So Upadeshamrita is a part of Bhakti Shastri, and Bhakti Shastri is a prerequisite for second initiation. So with this, we have come to the conclusion of today's chapter, today's lesson. Anybody has any questions, they can raise their hand and ask. Shri Haripriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, Prabhuji, my question is pertaining to the last class.
Yes.
Because I was searching in the lecture also, but I did not get that particular day's lecture also in the YouTube. So that's the reason I'm troubling you. Because when I was making the note, I was finding it so difficult. Like the last part, I must not have attended, or I don't know what had happened. The last slide you showed, that is battle against anartha. There now that helpless defeat, struggle and defeat, struggle and success, effortless success. So this actually, what do you intend to say from this helpless defeat?
When the person is beginning his Krishna consciousness, he will be helplessly surrendering to the Maya, or one who is ignorant about the purpose of life. The person may be thinking that he is enjoying, but actually he is being used by the senses for sense gratification. So that is helpless defeat. There is no other option for him. He has to surrender to the objects of senses. Or another way, if somebody is overly attached to any senses, it's like the addiction, there is no way he can say no to it, because these addictions will have the force and it will just drag him. A person who is a drunkard, helplessly he will go and drink without, even though he wants to stop it, he cannot stop. That is also helpless defeat. So when he comes to know that this is all wrong, then he tries to oppose it. I don't want to drink, but still I have become addicted to it. So when a person realizes this, then also he will not be able to give up immediately. But still gradually, since he has came to his senses that what I'm doing is wrong, then gradually he can come out of it. But in that course, it is like you're trying, but still you're failing. That is the second state. But when you come to Krishna consciousness by the mercy of the Lord and by the association of the devotees, the person struggles more and more, and with that struggle, one day he will succeed. This we can see practically when people come to Krishna consciousness. They give up all the addictions. The anartha nivritti will happen gradually. But when a person is completely engaged in the service of the Lord, then he will not get attracted to any of the sense objects, because he is already full with the Krishna consciousness. Then all the material objects, the person becomes very intelligent. He is able to think in advance what will happen if I engage in these sense gratificatory activities. So when he comes to know the results, he will not get into that. And also because of the strong attachment to Krishna, he will not find any other means which is equivalent to it, and he is always in service to Krishna. So it is like effortless success. If you are coming to temple, then you are saved from so many anarthas which may happen in your life.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Everything is very clear now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sarita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, there's the one you told in the class today, about that Mriga, the one who donated the cows to 2 Brahmanas and all. Yeah. So, and then he became a lizard. So is that such a small unconscious, subconscious level of sin will cause so much of a punishment later? Is the proportionate, is our sins proportionate to the punishment, or it's any punishment is improportionate to what we are doing? So agar choti galti hai to choti punishment milegi, and if the bigger mistake, and then you get a bigger. This is also I wanted to clarify.
Yeah, if you see, it is not a punishment, it's a benediction what Indriga got, because he was so fortunate to see Lord Krishna personally. Krishna personally came and delivered him. So that is the greatest benediction he got. So you cannot say whether it is a punishment or reward. Both it is. So there is no mistake from the providence. It will always give the correct proper punishment for everyone. And it was a choice for him, Indriga. He was asked, you have done a lot of punya. Do you want to go to heaven first and then take this punishment later? Or do you want to take the punishment first, then go to heaven for enjoyment? He told, first I will finish this business of punishment, then I will go to heaven. He told like that. So he was given the opportunity to come in touch with the Lord himself.
And a corollary to this question, Prabhuji, that they always say, that whatever you remember at the last minute, you will be according to that. Then what about the previous karmas, what has been done? Say, supposing some person is very lucky and last minute he can remember, maybe he's not too good at his deeds in his whole life. So does that all nullify? Or it's the vice versa also? If the person is really good and at last minute if he couldn't remember or whatever it is, how does it work out then?
Yeah, it is dependent, Mataji. The time of death, it is not in our hand. Whatever practice we have done throughout the life, that remembrance only comes. It is 99.99% sure, because our attachment, whatever is there, that comes immediately. Just like when you are being hurt by someone unknowingly, suddenly you shout in your mother tongue. That is because your subconscious mind, it will say. That's why Prabhupada says, life is a preparation, death is an examination. You will face the examination depending on your preparation. You will not write something else. And death is like you are losing the entire world at a time. Just like if you lose anything, your near and dear one, if you lose, or if you are losing any object of your which you like very much, how much pain is there? But at the time of death, you are losing everything in 1 second. So at that time, we will remember. We will not be able to remember what we should remember. Whatever remembrance comes, that's it. So that is death. So whatever we have practiced, on which we have put the complete faith on, that we will remember. If a person is very rich person, he will remember, oh, if I die now, who will take care of my business? That will come to his mind. He is very attached to his house. And if I die now, what is the use of this so much big house? I can't live here anymore. Such kind of thinking will come. So it all depends. You cannot separate them. It is interdependent.
But there are many students, Prabhuji, like us, who have never studied before. Now, last minute preparation, they are doing it. How do they pass the exam?
That is by the mercy of the devotees. When the devotees do very loud kirtan at the time of death, or if you are developing, even at the last moment, at least you develop the faith in the words of devotees, then there is a chance of deliverance.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you.
Rakshita Mataji.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. I wanted to ask you about this Chaturmasa Vrata. Like, how do we do it, and when does it start? When does it end?
Yeah, the dates are there, Mataji. I will text you later. I don't know the exact dates. Chaturmasa is done first month. We don't eat the leafy vegetables, that is green vegetables. Avoid them. And second month we avoid curd. Third month milk. Fourth month urad dal. These are the 4 things one will avoid one by one. That is the technically how we follow. And Chaturmasya, especially in ISKCON, it is not very strictly followed. That means you don't have to, Prabhupada, you don't find like 16 rounds chanting. It is most important. But following Chaturmasya is depending on your practice. What you if possible, you can do it perfectly. And people even do the Bhishma Panchaka after this Chaturmasya. And Chaturmasya, literally speaking, the sannyasis don't travel during that time. It's a time of rainy season. And this is a time where the entire nature is creating new, it is giving new life. So many insects, so many things will be there around. So they don't walk on them. They don't disturb them. They stay in one place. And those people are there, they come to the sannyasi and they take the advantage of the association. So that Chaturmasya has its own significance. If you see in Srimad Bhagavatam, Narada Muni got the association of those devotees during the time of Chaturmasya. Because it is very difficult to get the association of devotees. If you want to take this darshan of the Lord, you can plan. I will go to the temple, morning darshanarthi I can get. It is 100% sure. But you cannot be sure that I want to meet this devotee. No guarantee. He may or may not be there because he has so many other preaching activities. But here, during Chaturmasya, at least we can have the association of devotees. So many people request the devotees, please come to my house or please come to our place for this year's Chaturmasya. Like that they request. So that if a devotee comes there, then it's a great boon. We can take advantage of this association. That is our main purpose of Chaturmasya. Other than that, the food, what we are following, it is in this way.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Radha Vallavi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we talked about different senses, how to control them, and what are the impact if we don't control them. I have a specific question on the Krodha. Even though we have been reading, talking so much about it, listening to Mangalarti or hearing Gurujans, having these classes, but the growth seems to be taking the precedence every time. Whatever you do when it comes to, it's not that, someone is blaspheming the devotee. It is for your small cores at household you're not able to control. I just want some guidelines which can help one to, I'm talking for myself right now, because it is deteriorating everything, whatever tapasya you do. You think in the end of the day, everything is, it's like the elephant who takes a dip and then gets the sand back. So I think myself, it's the same situation for me also. You do something and end of the day, I'm back to square zero, because I'm not doing that I'm not following this process regularly, and I'm not doing it as per the Shastra. So
yeah, Krodha, it is, in some places it is useful, and in some places it can be harmful. So Krodha, the anger comes when we are attached to something. If you are attached to the children and you're expecting the children to be always good, and when they make mistake, you get angry. And if you show that angry positively, then there is no problem, because this kind of anger with the elderly people, those who are responsible, it is needed. The anger of responsibility. If every time you just keep smiling or pampering them, then the children get spoiled. If the child eats too much of sweet, you cannot just keep smiling. You should warn them. Or if they only keep on playing whole day, then you should show the anger. But at anger, you should check whether you are able to control it immediately. Just like in the classroom also, we shout at the students when they are not properly behaving. But the very next moment, we are able to speak smilingly. If that is the case, then your anger is not problem, because it is under your control and you are using that anger. This kind of anger are used by many people. Even Prabhupada also, he shows angry at his disciples to correct them. That is allowed, but it should not go out of control, that it is visible in other activities. Just like after this activity, maybe you are going to correct your child, and then you are going to speak to somebody else who has come to meet you. If you show that anger same place, other place also, then it is clear that it is not under control. Otherwise, when you are changing the topic, you should be completely peaceful and should not get affected by it. That is the right way of controlling the anger. And how to control this? You should not have attachment to it. See, after all, we should tell to ourselves, these children, they are children. When I was child, I was also like that. They are doing that, but it's my duty to correct them. For that sake, I show some anger, but don't get overly attached to the behavior of them. And you should not expect them to be always perfect in their behavior. That may not be possible. So that attachment should not be there. Then anger will not come. And be detached about the results, because everything finally it's in the hand of Krishna. Anger is a result of frustration. When I am not able to do something, I get angry. Angry is the next step. So attachment should not be there. We should give up attachment. Attachment can be given up when we realize the fact. When I think that I am the doer, that attachment will come. I'm not the doer. I'm only a caretaker. I do my best. But if things go out of hand, then just next time you can correct them. That's it. I think it answers your question.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Shri Haripriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this is regarding the skit. Actually, we were not able to conclude it properly because the message that we were trying to convey was there was a struggling devotee, Sarita Mataji, and I was also giving as a corrupted, I would say, to a certain level by the Maya. I was giving her suggestions how to overcome the things. And Sarita Mataji, who was the more controlled, who was more towards the Goswami kind of a person, she was trying to give her suggestions. So both of us, comparatively, when both of us were giving, like as in the shloka one, it is mentioned that a person who controls all the 6 urges is qualified to become a proper guru and guide a struggling or a neophyte devotee who is on the bhakti yoga. So as Kripa Prabhu was saying that the conclusion was not clear. So here I would just like to conclude what point we were trying to make was that one person was struggling, another person was also giving suggestion, and third person was also giving. Among the two, me and Sarita Mataji, it was Sarita Mataji was qualified to guide and provide her with the means and the ways to fight out all the urges and move on the path of bhakti, because I myself was fighting with those Maya urges. So I am not qualified to give her any guidance or tell her the tricks to get out of that particular struggles. So that is how I wanted to conclude it finally. So the message of mantra one was conveyed that a person who controls all the 6 urges is qualified to become a proper guru.
Yes, Mata.
Yeah, that's what Sarita Mataji was trying to tell us, Prabhuji, that control your mind, put it here, control your tummy and put it in other something. But we are like a spoiled ones. We are the slowest of the neophytes who are not ready to listen.
I was giving a suggestion which a person who is not qualified, like I was telling her, go and watch Adi Purush, put your mind to something else. And she was telling, do something, Sankirtan, do chanting, read something about Lord Krishna. So she is more qualified to become a guru and guide a neophyte devotee, whereas I am not qualified.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Deepti Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, my question is a bit different. It's a personal question. Prabhuji, yesterday I was just going through this video of Amal Krishna Prabhu's video that was in Hindi, like how can we know about what are the 16 sanskars, no? 16 sanskars. So the question actually it started because my daughter was asking me that there are different ceremonies. We have this Karna Vedan ceremony also. So like, what are the authentic ones? I was just telling her, she was going on the Google and she was searching for it. So I was like, no, we should go for the authentic ones. Let me go and search. Because a few days back, there was this one which was popping up, like how we should know what are the 16 sanskars. No, that was by Amal Krishna Prabhu. So Prabhuji, my question is like, I mean, now during these modern times, we are not aware of all the sanskars or the initiation ceremonies, and it happens at many places in various houses. It still happens. Like even we conducted some like Kanbhedan ceremony and all, but the proper kind of a ritual, how it is followed, we usually don't know the processes and all. So Prabhuji, is it enough that our kids, in case what we try to provide to our kids are like Krishna consciousness, like we should have prasadam, we should do the chanting? Or do we also get such kind of guidance here in ISKCON? After the initiation, is it there that these are the different things that you should follow, or even before the initiation, if we are not initiated, we are guided with respect to these? I mean, how to know like whether it is a mandate, like it should be followed in such a format, or so basically the question is, Prabhuji, we are not aware of all these things. And we are following them consciously or unconsciously, knowingly, unknowingly, we are still following many. But yes, it is a question, Prabhuji, like, please guide on to this.
Yeah,
please.
samskaras are.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna. It's a part of Varnashrama system. The samskaras are different for different Varna and Ashrama. At different Varna, the Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa, Ashramas, there are different samskaras are performed. And if you are skipping any of the ashramas, certain samskaras will not be there for such a person. And even Varna also. If you see, Brahmanas have more samskaras as compared to Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas have more than Vaishyas, and Vaishyas have more than Shudras. Shudra, it is told Shudra has only one samskara, that is Vivaha samskara. Get him married, so he will become responsible. Otherwise, he will not. Like that, that is one saying is there. So, if you are coming to Krishna consciousness, the most important instructions, whatever Prabhupada has told us, that is the thing which we have to follow. Rest of the things, it is, we cannot say it is mandatory, because this International Society for Krishna Consciousness, we cannot impose what you are following in a particular place on others. At the same time, it is we are not going to stop also. It is not telling you to stop it also. As soon as far as your Krishna consciousness, all the principles are being followed properly, it is your choice to perform these samskaras at your whatever samskaras you have followed. You can continue it.
Thank you so much. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Just
Krishna.
continuing with Deepti Mataji's question about the sanskaras, like whatever sanskars we have been doing, like we also follow our family, all these sanskars, and begins with the Garbhadan sanskar. But at every sanskar time, it is like Lord Vishnu and Lord Vishnu, you keep Lord Vishnu in mind and every sanskar is performed. So that is the prime element in that. Like you think of Lord Krishna and Vishnu as the Param Bhokta, and that is every sanskar is performed by keeping them in mind.
Yes. Sansiddhi Paritoshanam. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Rakshita Mataji.
Prabhuji, again, a follow-up question on the same thing. So you just told we cannot be imposing all these samskars on others because they've been doing it the way they were doing. But as per the Shastras, is it like keeping aside where we come from, which country we belong to, as per the Shastras, the authentic instruction is what? Do we have to stick on to them, or it's okay?
No. There are instructions even in ISKCON, how a brahmachari should be, how a grahastha should be, what is vanaprastha life, what is a sannyasi, how he should be. These minimum guidance are there. This you can, at the time of initiation, certain questions will be asked from the person. These all are pertaining to the samskaras that he has undergone. Which ashrama are you belonging to? All these things will be checked. This can be instructed personally. We cannot give any general solution for this. If a person particularly he says, this is my background, what I should follow. For such people, personally we can instruct, but we cannot generalize it, because every person comes from different backgrounds. Just like Prabhupada, when he was in West, there was a Mataji who came to him. She told, I will stay in temple. Prabhupada told, you cannot stay in temple. You should be under the, either you should be with your parents, or if you are married, you should be with your husband, or you should be with the grown-up children. That is how a woman lives. You cannot live alone in the temples like brahmacharis. That is not possible. But she had no one. At her home, there was no support for her spiritual practice. So Prabhupada made facility for such people to live. So that is exceptional cases are there. And in Kali Yuga, if you see, there are opposing elements everywhere for practice of Krishna consciousness. So we should go to a particular person. So personally, we can give the instruction. If you generalize it, what happens? People take wrong advantage of it. Oh, this is told, this can be done. So we don't know in what way they will take it. So in this matter, we don't give any generalized statement. Rather, we better go with the specific person's whatever is there. We have to analyze and give the instruction.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Okay, if there are no more questions, then we'll end up for today. Next class, we'll continue with the next lesson. I thank all the devotees for coming to the session and actively participating in the discussion. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.